there. I am responding to Megan's question about politics and religion. The first question is, why is it important to understand the political and religious aspects of a country when talking about education, and how do these specifically impact Malala's education? Okay, so this is kind of a long answer. If you look at women's education in Pakistan, 30% of the entire population of women, the literacy rate is 30%. Women in Pakistan are expected to be wives and mothers first. There really are not a lot of paid jobs for women. And so education, because of the way the gender roles are, education is not valued for women. They don't need it because they're mothers and they're wives. And that's where, their culture has a very deeply rooted patriarchal value system. So that's a big part of it. How women are treated, the gender roles. You have with the religion, they have, in extreme cases, obviously, honor killings. You've got, I was reading about in 1999, they had a problem, and it still goes on, but they had bride burning, where they would marry someone for their dowry and then burn the bride alive. And I guess there were 1,200 cases reported, and then they only convicted 2 people. And so I think when you're looking at the government and the religion of this area, especially in the very rural areas, because obviously the more rural you get, and that's the same pretty much anywhere, the education rates, the value rates change. So with Malala, I mean, she's living in this world where she is expected to be a wife and a mother, and so her wanting an education threatens the culture right now. Another thing, obviously, is the insurgents destroying schools for religious reasons. I think they said in 2014 there were 710 schools destroyed by the Taliban. And back to gender equality. They had said in 2014, the World Economic Forum said that Pakistan ranked second worst country in the world for gender equality. So I think you need to understand culture before you can talk about education and how to make good, positive changes to education, because something that works for one country is not necessarily going to work for another, because the culture and the religions are so vastly different. It's not on the same level. So understanding is very important. We talked about Kenya before, and we talked about the girls' school. I think that, for some people, they said, oh, well, the money's it's $13. What's the big deal? Or it's $4 to deworm someone. And the truth is that you have to understand that, yeah, $4 to us is nothing. $13 to us is nothing. It's a lot of money there when they're making less than $1 a day. Some families are making quite a bit less than that. They don't have bathrooms. They're drinking trash water. They're living in trash or living in slums. And so how do you change education, or how do you change gender roles while you're also fighting where they're living and their culture? It's hard. It's hard to figure out what's going to work, what's not going to work. So I think it's really important to understand those things first before you can tackle things like education. Number 2, it says, Malala says that perhaps the Taliban does not want women to be educated because they fear the power this will give them. What are our thoughts on this? Yeah, I think of course the Taliban, they're a religious extremist group, and so they really don't view women like anything. And so the idea that women would be educated, which they know that, you know, education rates mean higher self-esteem rates. Education rates mean that women understand that they don't have to live in a world where they don't have a say or an opinion, that they learn that they're valuable. That threatens their way of life. That threatens their beliefs. And so it makes sense. I think when she talks about the power, I don't think she's talking that women are going to rule the world, although obviously I think women can. I'm not saying that, but I think what she means is that right now in Pakistan and in the Middle East, men have 100% of the power. 100%. And even to give up a little bit is a scary thing for these terrorist groups. So, yeah, that is my responses. Look forward to the rest of the conversation. Thanks.